What do y'all know about this? I have a sneaking suspicion that this is going to ruin me. I went into this book blind, by the way. I really didn't have any. I just remember seeing it recommended on TikTok. So I was like, screw it, I'll grab it. So I didn't have any idea of what this was about. I'm in love so far. I'm about this far. Don't spoil it for me. Am I going to be sad? Yes or no? Hi, everyone. It's Isabella here, and welcome back to the channel. So today's video, okay, I'm in my PJs, right? Cloudy day, comfortable, right? I'm just hanging out a little bit. And I just saw something come across on TikTok, and I was like, wait a damn minute, it's something's going on. We need to talk about entitled parents. So I have a little situation that I saw pop off on social media talking about an entitled parent at a restaurant. And as someone, fun fact about me, I don't know if you guys know this, I used to be a waitress and a barista, and I actually used to work at a nursing home, and I would serve meals there. I had a lot of different jobs. So I know I would have some understanding of this topic when it comes to an entitled parent in a restaurant. I've been there, done that. We're gonna talk about that. Buckle up, this might piss you off a little bit. So before we hop in, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you guys want a little bit more of this, go to my second channel because we have more lifestyle content over there. My podcast episodes, which are amazing. I love that, along with some other reactionary. And then if you guys want to check out the weird cousin of the family, which is Instagram and TikTok, definitely go over there. We have, like, it's a world of difference and we have so much fun. So I'm there every day. I'm like the annoying spam calls you get. You can't get rid of me. So okay, first things first, we need to talk about entitled parents, right? I think everyone has met an entitled parent before. We've met people that are like, whoa, God. I know for me, I sit here and I'm like, thank you, mom. Thank you, mom. Thank you, mom, so much. Love you so much, Michelle. So grateful that you didn't do that kind of stuff because it's just embarrassing, right? And if you are an adult in the world, sometimes you witness children just being kids. But then we see the entitled parents and you go, really? I love children. I want to make this so clear. I love children. I have a nephew. I'm so excited. He's the yummiest baby ever. I think he's the most adorable baby I've ever witnessed. And I love children. I can't wait to have kids. But at the same time, just because you decide to have kids doesn't mean that everyone else needs to just cater around to that, right? You need to do your job as a parent and raise them into the world, right? This parent doesn't sound like she did. So I'm going to whip out the video and let's talk about what she's saying. This is the content creator in question. Her name is Renee Barandray. That's a cool name. I love that. Anyways, I want to show you guys the original video. It's going to be pushing like 700,000 views now. And let's watch.
Now, I'm really sorry for a sloppy TikTok because I see people crying. I'm like, put your fucking phone down. But if this makes someone think for just a tiny second, I'm going to post it. We just went to an Asian restaurant that was on, I don't know, it had good stars, good ratings. So we're like, yep, we'll go there for dinner. I've got a busy toddler, yes. Firstly, they had no high chair. I was like, that's okay. He sits on a chair at home, he'll eat at the table with us. Not perfect, but he'll eat with us. Mum and I are having a drink and he got off the chair. He went and said hello to the people next to us. Mind you, there was literally one family there with a newborn and someone else down there very far away. He started playing with the...
I'm so sorry. I'm like already overstimulated by the noise in the background. Okay, so what we see so far, because there is some noise in the background. It looks like Lil Man is watching some videos. So just to make this very clear, it was 5:30 p.m. They were going to get some food. There was no high chair offered. Okay, then kiddo needs to sit on his seat, and that's the start of it.
Pot plant, fake pot plant. He's not doing anything wrong. He's just minding his own business, not...
Okie dokie. So I just got to make this really clear. If you're letting your toddler walk around aimlessly and play with shit that they're not supposed to, that's not good. One, that could easily be a liability. If your child gets hurt, if something bad happens to them, that could be an easy liability for that restaurant. That could impact their reputation and everything in life as they know it. So I understand why a restaurant would go, toddler touching plant, we got to stop that right now because something bad can happen. Also, here's my thing. I know toddlers are going to be toddlers, but again, we need to also raise toddlers into society, and kids need to sit down. They just need to sit down in the chair. Because I'm going to tell y'all right now, one of the biggest things that I hated in the world of being in a restaurant, two things. If you guys are in this industry, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. after churchgoers and children running amok in the damn restaurant. Oh my God. One, after churchgoers were very, very mean, and it was really sad. It was always the boomers that were really rude to me, and I was like, what the hell? And then we had the kids where, I'm not kidding, I would nearly trip on children all the time because no parents would be like, come sit down and like have their kids sit with them. It was so scary because if I had something hot, oh my God, I will never forget this. There was one child, a little boy, and he ran right underneath me, and he doesn't know any better. He's little. I understand. He's just being a child. And I had something hot in my hand. I was literally like, holy shit, like I'm going to burn the hell out of myself because like I was going to try and make sure the kid didn't get hurt. Thankfully, I was able to stop. I was like, oh my God, like if in my head quickly, I'm like, if I can't, I need to protect this kid because the parents are not watching at all. You need to watch your kids. I don't really understand how this is a confusing conversation here.
Pulling it apart or anything. They came over to me and they said, could you please put your child in the seat? Well, if you can't sit down the whole time, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. I said, you haven't offered up.
Yes, because if wait staff like breaks an ankle over tripping over a toddler, that impacts their income. If a toddler pulls something down and it hurts the child and they have to go to the emergency room, etc., that's a liability for the restaurant. I'm incredibly confused on how this is a problem. Like, I have a pet, okay? I have a sweet fur baby. I am not going to inconvenience somebody by not putting her on a leash. I'm going to be a responsible dog owner, and I'm going to keep her on a leash and keep her close to me because that's what I'm supposed to do. And if she was ever being disruptive, we would need to leave and do something else. If I had that mentality about my own puppy, why is it that anyone wouldn't have that mentality about their own child? You chose to have kids. I'm really confused about that. This is why I don't have kids right now.
Us a high chair. He's not doing anything wrong. He's not harming anything. He's not doing anything wrong.
He is, because he's touching the restaurant shit. Sorry.
We'll sit and eat dinner when it comes. Sorry, if he's not going to sit there the whole time, I'm sorry, we can't serve you here. So up we got, and we left. Now we're in the hotel room. Maybe they would have thought twice if they realised that I was out all morning chasing him, trying to do something fun for him. Maybe he would have thought twice if he knew that I had been waiting for him to wake up so we could go out for dinner as a family. Just us two and my mum. The ordeal to even try and get to a restaurant in the first place. The fact that our hearts are a little bit heavy because his two brothers aren't with us this weekend. It's been so fucking hard, this trip, and it's just such a reminder. You just don't know where people are at or what they're doing in that moment, and just something like that can just be really fucking upsetting. I said, you obviously are not kid friendly here, so we're gonna go. He said, yes, thank you. What?
Just because a place is kid friendly doesn't mean they're friendly to hell and havoc happening. You know what I mean? Like McDonald's with their PlayStation is kid friendly. That doesn't mean a child can walk aimlessly in the back near the fryers. Just because a place is kid friendly doesn't mean you get to just say, I don't have to parent or make sure my child does what they're supposed to do. What the hell? Oh my God. Like, I'm sorry, but this is just so stupid to me.
So now we're gonna order Uber Eats, aren't we? Safe in our room. I love you. Kiss.
I also think it's really weird when you're making a video talking about this and you have to include a visual of your toddler. Why? So here's the thing. I think there needs to be a lot of support for moms. I'm going to always argue for that. I think there's a lot of things, especially in the United States right now, that is not supportive of mothers. I fully agree with that. However, we should not just completely forget the fact that, yes, you have a responsibility as a parent, as you chose to have these children, to parent them and make sure that they behave, not only for their safety, but for other people's safety. Because again, like I said, anything can actually happen with those kiddos, to where if they're walking and somebody trips, like, God forbid a hot drink or something gets poured onto that child and he gets horrible burns. Like something awful could happen. And that was one of my biggest fears when I was a waitress. I was genuinely so stressed out whenever I had tables of like young kids from like a baseball game or an after church group or something. And there was just like 5 or 6 younger kids. They were literally just doing only what they were taught and knew what was right for them. So I don't blame the children at all, but it was so frustrating seeing the parents not give a shit. Just because you decide to have kids doesn't mean that like the world just changes around you and like caters completely to it. You still have to parent, make sure your kids sit still. Like you have to entertain them. And I absolutely do not disregard the fact that she's going through it and having a bad moment. And you know what? Maybe that's why she's more emotional about this right now. But I think the last thing we should do is take this onto social media or TikTok where people could find their restaurant potentially and harass them over it, which could impact their reputation. Like I am all for calling out shitty people, unethical companies, you name it. But we also have to take a step back and go, okay, hey, this is all right. They had a boundary in their restaurant of, I don't want a young child running around or playing with something that they shouldn't be. And you didn't make that adjustment. Therefore, they're like, we're not going to serve you anymore. I think that's fair. I think that's completely valid because they don't want any liability of somebody getting hurt. I think that's incredibly smart. So she posted up another video.
Just in regards to my video about us being asked to leave a restaurant because my toddler wasn't sitting at the table, I just cannot believe how many made up narratives there are in the comment section, and people are just like following along thinking they know what happened. This mother also experienced the same type of treatment when she went to the restaurant. I'll leave the comment and review here.
So let me read off the comment. It says, this was posted 3 years ago. Kristen was the commenter that said, I booked a table and we arrived at 5:30 on a Sunday night. I had my baby asleep in the prom. I do not know what that is. I'm sorry. When I spoke to the waitress, she coldly told me to leave my prom outside on the street as no room for it inside. She was very rude and blunt. I would have to wake my baby up and leave my prom outside on the street, which I did not feel comfortable doing. I cannot understand her reasoning as the restaurant was empty. It was 5:30, 2 people inside, plenty of room for a prom, disgusting service, unhelpful and no empathy, a very cold-hearted human. No mother with a baby should be treated this way. I will never ever go back. Okay, so I'm trying to like consider the fact of like, does this restaurant, is it really small? Like, is this like a fire hazard of what they're allowed to have and not have inside? I'm not exactly too sure. I think some restaurants are capable of having prom. One second. Okay, so is it like stroller? I think that's a stroller. Okay, some strollers are big as hell though. If this is a small restaurant, I understand not being able to have that kind of space. Either way, we're not talking about that situation. We're talking about this one right now. This is still disruptive as hell to let a toddler run around freely in any restaurant, no matter where it is, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is. Running freely with no supervision is crazy to me.
Obviously not a kid-friendly. I didn't see this until after, because I wouldn't have supported a restaurant that didn't let a newborn sit in their pram because there was no room. I still wholeheartedly stand by what I said. We were not treated fairly in this situation. My son was at arm's reach away from me, not harming anyone. We were the furthest table away from the kitchen. There was literally 3 tables, including us, in the restaurant at the time. I have taught my boys to sit at a restaurant respectfully, to use their manners just like any other mother would. And I'm doing the same with Ziggy. If he is to hop off the chair for a moment to engage with a family with a baby sitting next to us, that should be okay. If he was causing harm to property, if he was in the way of the kitchen, if he was in the way of staff, yes, I completely wholeheartedly can say we deserve to be asked to leave. But he did none of the above. All these narratives in the comment section are bullshit. All I was trying to do was make light of the fact that sometimes people need to be a little bit more lenient when people are out with toddlers. It's not always going to go as planned. No, it is not a playground. It is not a playpen. None of those things. I have never treated a place like that when I'm out with my children. The night before, we were at a beautiful restaurant and the staff were so lovely to Ziggy, playing with him, interacting with him. Ziggy was doing the exact same thing, just standing around our table, going for a little wander, not in anyone's way, and they were beautiful. They even gave Ziggy a hug goodbye. Everyone has a right to their own opinion, and I'm aware of that. I put myself out on social media. I caught backlash. But for the people being absolutely, utterly cruel and making up scenarios that didn't even happen, commenting on my parenting, me as a person, you need to think twice when you are writing something. I am a human being. Some of those comments are absolutely disgusting, and it's just not okay. Lastly, I'm not here to make you agree with me. Everyone's different. I completely understand that. But what you have control of is how decent you are as a person, how you make people feel when you write horrible, horrible things. The thing that hurts me the most is it's mothers in the comments. It's women, when we should be fucking looking after each other. If you don't like something, don't say such nasty, horrible things to try and personally attack someone. We move on now, don't we, Ziggy? Yeah.
If she says that there was like only 3 tables in the restaurant, maybe there were a few more. Maybe she's saying there's only 3 people. It still sounds like a pretty small restaurant. Honestly, my thought process is maybe the restaurant's like had a bad experience and it's gone, we need to make sure the toddlers sit put. Because I just remember we never put a policy in place when I was younger. But I just vividly remember constantly almost tripping over toddlers. Think that just because she's a mother or a woman, she gets a pass. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I think other women and mothers have a right to say, hey, you did something wrong. I don't agree with you. That doesn't just mean that they should side with you if they don't agree that you're doing something correctly. I don't think anyone should harass her. That's not valid. But I still stand by this idea that there are some entitled parents who do allow this kind of stuff to happen in restaurants, which I think are ridiculous. I mean, I have seen kids like break things before. I have seen kids get tripped over, try and walk into the kitchen, try and like walk right out of the restaurant. Like, just parents just kind of like hoping somebody else will watch the kid, or even trying to determine like, or hope that other staff will catch or watch the toddler. And I don't think that's safe or correct at all. I think the same thing as well goes for like iPad kids. Oh my God, I am so like against the idea of iPad kids. It's not even funny. The extreme like screen time and like the blasting of the music and like and the shows from the games. It's like, you shouldn't just be disturbing everyone's existence. Okay, it's that kind of entitled parent stuff that I'm just not really here for. So some of the comments, I do want to read off a few of them. There was some actually in a different video that she posted up because she turned off all the comments. And then this one says, I knew she would either delete the video or turn off the comments. Another one said, restaurants are not free daycare centers. And then another one says, so he can sit down to eat at home, but not at a restaurant, which, yeah, I agree. She told the staff that like, hey, he can sit down in a chair totally fine. And then when he doesn't, I get why they're concerned over that. Like, someone said, if your kid doesn't sit in the chair the whole time and there's no high chair, go home or pick a place with high chairs. And yes, I have kids 12 and 10, so I've experienced the toddler life. Someone says, as a mom of 4, I learned the world doesn't stop because I have kids. We have to teach our kids to exist in a world that already exists. And another comment that I totally relate to, it says, as a former server, I hated it when kids were walking around unattended. We would carry huge trays of food and we wouldn't be able to see if a toddler was below us. So dangerous. Now, she reacted to another comment that says, 1, you're shamed if they don't sit. You're shamed if you give them a tablet or phone. You're shamed if they run off and scream or throw a chip. Kids are kids. Some things are going to happen. There's really nothing you can do about it. But what you can control is, yeah, make sure they sit down in a safe place, because you have to step in. I know kids are going to be kids, but you have to step in if it's going to get unsafe. That's not something I think anyone can argue with here. It doesn't really matter if a kid wants to run to the street. If they're going to run to the street and there's cars present, you need to step in. It doesn't really matter if they're being a child, then you need to do the stepping in. If a child wants to run around a restaurant, again, you shouldn't be letting that happen. If they want to play with a plant or an item that's not theirs, you shouldn't be letting that happen. I don't think this is just mom shaming or anything. I think this is just calling out something that's unsafe that so many people, including myself, have experienced and have had problems with for years now. Hi guys, Editing Belly here. So I wanted to add an additional thing that I literally just came across my For You page, and I had to toss it in quickly before posting this video. So there's actually a content creator by the name of Soogia. She is so, oh my God, she's an amazing content creator. So please check her out on TikTok. It was brought to my attention through her video that Renee, the original content creator, DM'd her and was pissed off because Soogia was talking about this situation. But then furthermore, I also found out through this video that the restaurant, she name dropped in the comment section. Not only that, the restaurant got so much backlash that the restaurant had to release a statement addressing everything. It said, last night a family, 2 adults and a toddler, arrived as we opened the restaurant. We were fully booked that night. However, since we just opened and we were happy to cater for them. The first thing we mentioned is that we do not have high chairs, as our restaurant typically does not have toddlers dining there. We double checked to make sure the customer was okay with this. They were. We seated them near the window and entrance next to a pot plant. At this time, the customers had only ordered drinks. Whilst consuming their drinks, the child had wandered out of their seat and started to play with the plant, which was in arm's reach, yes. However, it's also located near the entrance of the restaurant. During this time, we started getting busy with takeaways and customers walking in and out of the restaurant. Because of the location of the child, it was a safety hazard. My father, the owner, approached the mother of the child and asked if she could please sit him in his chair as business is starting to become busy, in which she responded that she could not control her child. It was then mentioned that it is a safety hazard, as once it gets busy, we serve very hot dishes that may injure the child if something were to happen. She then still responded that it's a kid and that she cannot control him. Our response to this is that we won't be able to serve them until he was able to sit down. They had not yet ordered their food at this point. Then they said they will leave then, since they weren't kid-friendly. They stood up, drank their alcohol, and left without paying. So thank you for supporting us and waiting for our side of the story. Are you kidding me? So you don't even pay for the drinks and you just walk out. They clearly made a boundary that made so much sense. And as a former server, oh my God, thank you to the owner of this business for standing up and defending your business like this. And she, oh my God, the entitlement is actually shocking. So 11 hours ago, she made another post. So this is a long one. It says, I'm writing to express my deep concern about the hate and harassment I've experienced on TikTok following a post I shared regarding an incident at a restaurant. In my post, I described it being refused service because I was dining with my toddler despite him behaving appropriately. We were not offered a high chair, and the restaurant stated that they don't do high chairs. My child was within arm's reach, not causing any harm, danger around hot food or in the way of staff, disturbance or inconvenience to anyone. In fact, other diners were happy engaging with him, but if he wasn't to be seated the whole time, we would not be served. I believe we were unfairly treated, especially since the night before we had a wonderful and welcoming experience at a different restaurant and had never had a problem with him in public before. Okay, but if that restaurant has a different policy, that's super duper great. But if this one's like, hey, we don't want to do that. God, I wish my old boss would have been like, hey, kids need to sit down. I wish. God, I genuinely, there were several scary moments, all because of children not sitting down. Unfortunately, after sharing my experience, people have created false narratives that do not reflect what actually happened. I did not turn off comments because people disagreed with me. I've always welcomed respectful debate, different opinions, and discussions through my years on social media. However, what I received was not healthy discussion. It was severe bullying, harassment, and personal attacks, and complete misrepresentation of my parenting and character. What has been especially heartbreaking is that much of the harassment has come from other women. As women, we should be lifting each other up, not tearing each other down, especially when it comes to the challenges of parenting and sharing vulnerable real-life experiences. Okay, but again, just because you're a woman or a parent doesn't like just suddenly make it go like, oh, whatever, like you're a woman. Just kidding, girly pop. That's not how that works. I'm a girl's girl, but if you do something dumb or bad, I am going to call it out. I believe there's so much power in women supporting women, and it saddens me to see so much cruelty instead. If you don't agree, cool, no need to be nasty. I'm not a perfect parent, I have never claimed to be, but no one deserves to this level of harassment and mistreatment I have faced. Which is why I made the decision to turn off the comments on that post, not because I can't handle disagreement, but because no one should have to endure hate and bullying for simply sharing their experience. While I acknowledge it was a mistake to mention the restaurant's name, I am truly sorry for that. I've never encouraged anyone to attack the business or leave negative reviews. I love this platform and what it can represent when used positively, but the amount of harassment I've received has been overwhelming. Please consider ways to better protect human beings, particularly when mass harassment is targeted at someone simply telling their story. This world can be cruel sometimes, and I truly hope we can all work towards making it a kinder, more supportive place, especially for each other. Now, I scrolled through her content, and there was another video that she posted up that I wasn't a fan of. And I'm sorry, but it kind of gives me the vibe that the more that I went through, I was like, I think we kind of let shit go. This video is like, how fun is the toddler stage? And she's like actively recording her child putting their hands in the toilet. For content, mind you.
Excuse me? What is in there? Mate, no. I'll get them. Ugh, Ziggy. Ziggy! No more things in the toilet. Help you?
So there's that. Point of this video is I think that some people can be incredibly entitled when it comes to their kids allowed to do whatever. And I actually do want to talk about things like boy moms and whatnot in future videos, because this kind of stuff is really rampant on social media, and utilizing kids or a sob story or something for views and content and clicks, whether it's like a bad story with like a child's medical history, something like this and whatnot. I think some people are taking things to a little bit extreme, and this story is just, I think, no different. A child parent being very frustrated with the fact that her toddler couldn't do what he wanted, but she deems it as fine, even though the restaurant says it's not. You cannot just let your kids run around a restaurant like that. Or even still, if a restaurant's like, we don't feel comfortable because they could be liable, I don't think you could blame them. I wouldn't even want a toddler running aimlessly in my house right now. I would watch them like a hawk, because anything could happen. Parents who are entitled in restaurants, big issue and a big concern. What do you guys think about this video? I think that she wasn't exactly right in this. I think that she was a little bit much and was just upset with people not working with her on that, but you can't expect people to work with you if you're already putting others into a bad situation. So that was it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.